Friends, on this beautiful morning, a warm welcome to everyone. A shout out to those who are participating in the other building of the overflow, and welcome to our brothers and sisters who are joining us from home as they are homebound, or those who watching us from afar. As I was reflecting on today's parable of God's invitation to us to the rich banquet, I thought of that day in 1994. I was driving back to the seminary in my first college year as a seminarian. In case you're calculating my age, I'm only 21 years old right now. I was driving back in disarray. I was depressed. I felt stressed out, and I was very lost, thinking about already leaving the seminary. What happened was I joined the seminary, and I was my first time away from my strict parents, and I started to get really good at billiards. I was taking a lot of money from the other seminarians, and I was playing ping pong almost as good as Forrest Gump. I was spending a lot of time, and consequently, I was running behind in writing papers, and the semester was coming to the end, and I was way behind. I was putting that off. I was running behind in studying for the exams, and my grade wasn't good, and my prayer life was terrible. It is for real. Yes, it is real. You can't believe that would happen to Father Dad, don't you? Yeah! Big round of applause for that great question right there. That's for real. That's me. Okay, there you go. So, this is even, as you may recall, I tried back, and that I was driving on the freeway, the sofa of the car when we fell off. I tried to avoid it, but I did it so fast, I lost balance of the car, and my car spun 5 times on the freeway. And when I finally managed for it to stop, it turned backward on the freeway, and an 18-wheeler truck, and this is for real, was running straight into me. Okay, now here's the thing. I'll never forget. It's a moment of truth, because when that truck, I was helpless. The car already come to a stop backward on the freeway. The 18-wheeler was driving straight into me. In that moment, it felt like eternity, because I thought to myself, what is important to me right now? Was I ready to come face to face with the Lord in the heavenly banquet? Brothers and sisters, if Jesus today extend his invitation and look at each one of you in the eyes right now and ask you this question, what is most important to you right now? I can assure you, in that one moment of truth, in that split second, it definitely wasn't playing billiard and getting money from other seminarians, or playing the video games, or getting on my cell phone, or it was trying to play and do really well in the ping pong. It was definitely not. Yeah, and the parable today invite us to think about that. Because this gracious, wonderful king make this wonderful invitation, and he's so generous with this banquet. And when he goes out the first time, people refused. Again, he sent out his servants with this gracious invitation. Some, said the parable, said they are busy with their farm. Others said they are busy with their business, and they didn't come. Wow. Do we in our lives put the immediate, the unimportant, do we ever put that before what is really important in our lives? Now, this parable is a little bit strange, because the king seems like he's in a in a bad mood, because according to this parable, after they refused and mistreated the servant and killed some of them, what did the king do? He sent out his troops into the city, burned down the city, and killed those murderers. Now, I always remember reading this parable, said, "Whoa, that's scary. And if that king represents our God, I am scared." But remember, St. Matthew, who wrote in about the year 90 AD, was writing to a community of mainly Jewish who had become Christians. And for the Jewish people, they always remember an important event in the nation only a couple decades before, that on the year 70 AD, the Romans came, sacked the city, burned down the temple, and many people died. And they always look to that event as a reminder that shaking them up would be like for us the event of 9/11. And today we look back, and it's always a reminder for us that on our own, we cannot be totally dependent on our own. We need God. And when we put other things beyond God, watch out what might happen. Now, friends, that's exactly what happened when we put the immediate above the importance. When I was studying, when I was putting ping pong and video games and billiard before study, before I know it, I was in great depression and stress because I felt I'm so behind. I could not catch up with the semester. It was a terrible experience. When we put God, other things more important than God, when we put things on Sunday, when we put hanging out with friends, football, video game, before gathering to worship God, before we know it, our faith begins to grow cold. When we put other things before our family and relationship, the relationship is affected by it. And yet, do we spend so much energy chasing after thousands of things that distract us and that are not important? And continuing on with this parable, there was another strange event. So the king said, "Now go out and invite everybody on the street. Go out and invite them, bring them all to this banquet." Now remember, after that event and the persecution of the church, after the destruction of the temple, Christians were scattered everywhere. And consequently, the faith was being spread throughout the world. And so here's the king inviting everybody on the street to come. And he walks in the banquet hall, and there's this one man who showed up without a wedding garment. And as we recall, the king was so harsh. He said, "Friend, why are you here without a wedding garment?" And then he had the servant bind him and throw him out to the darkness where there's wailing and grinding of teeth. And you're thinking, why? You go out on the street and you invite everybody. How are they ready to wear a wedding garment? St. Matthew, remember in the original parable, read Luke chapter 14. That was not part of the parable. St. Matthew added another parable to it. That's why it didn't flow too well. But what he wanted to add on to teach his community is this. For you, brothers and sisters, and for us, just because we are already baptized and say yes to God, just because today on this Sunday we are gathering right here in this church, does not mean we have come with the wedding garment. In other words, it is an interior disposition of the heart. Come ready to engage and enter in what God has to give us here. Think of it like a family dinner. We can come to a dinner and it's family time to be together, but we can be so distracted and unprepared. We can be so glued into our phone and our video games or on the TV that time for family, we finish it and we didn't connect with one another, nor we have meaningful conversation. And He warned us against coming to church unprepared. We might have had our faith. We might be by name Christian and Catholic, but yet we come without this faith, this garment. And that is why there's 3 out of 10 who do not believe in the presence of the Eucharist. We come not prepared, or we come, I beg you, dear community of St. Faustina, give wholeheartedly. Once a week we gather in this banquet that Jesus prepared for us. It's so rich with God's grace. Something that the saint would say, the angels are envy of us because of the gift of the body and blood of Christ. And yet we come, are we prepared? Do we come prepared? Do we come? It's only an hour. And if Father Dad's homily get a bit long, hour and 10 minutes. Do we give completely? Do we come in time? Do we wait until we finish? Then we leave. Give totally. Give it to the Lord. Enter into this banquet. Allow Him to bless us. What a beautiful parable for us to reflect on. You know, the truck hit me. My car was completely totaled. By God's grace, I was unscratched. But the police drove me back, because my car was totaled, back to the chapel, and I knelt there. And that really reoriented me. What was important? What was important? Refocusing on prayer life, on what was important. And thank God it's kept me going. Otherwise, I wouldn't be celebrating Mass today. And so, brothers and sisters, that is a beautiful invitation and question for us to think about. What's distracting us? And what is most important to you right now?